Let's see here. Well, good morning, all. Hopefully, can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Or is it me now?
Yes, sir.
Good
Am I
morning.
coming? Okay, I guess my mic is down. I don't know. Am I coming through okay?
I hear you.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank everyone for getting on up this morning and coming on out to our community meeting. We want to go hurry up and get started here. I know folks have a lot to do and I want to be respectful of your time. So we've got our turnout is getting a little better each and every day. We're going to start off. I've got a couple of notes. One, as you all know, we do have a September 21st election for District 1 for the late Sona Singleton Gregory seat. Qualifying is over and we have 10 candidates in that race. So I just wanted you all to be aware of that. So I don't know if any of them are here or any of you all are part of them. Valley Hill Road, we have got the Valley Hill Road, Battle Creek, Mount Zion, we're calling it the Economic Gateway project. That project was implemented several years ago. We're now getting ready to get started. That is going to take care of Valley Hill Road Bridge coming down through Battle Creek, doing some widening and going on through Mount Zion into District 1. We're really hoping this is going to be a catalyst for economic improvement in our county. And that's what we're really trying to do. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain in certain ways, but I think over the long run, Riverdale, portions of Jonesboro going on in the Rex, we're really going to hopefully begin to create an economic impact that is going to be positive for our community. Yeah, next. We have talk about the proposed project, the Noah's Ark apartment project. We have a proposed project that will be voted on Tuesday night. We've gotten a lot. We've had 3 community meetings involving that, and we've got some issues to begin to contend with. So I've had a lot of emails, and I want to thank you all for those emails, and just stating what's on your mind with that project. So thank you for that. We have another proposed project, the Mcdonald Road development. That's not on the agenda, but that's coming down the pipeline, and we will be having some community meetings here in the near future for that as well. Our street renaming, I've gotten a bunch of calls from citizens in the community around the Terra Road, Terra Boulevard, right around the, what is that? What restaurant am I thinking about that's closed down right now?
Cracker Barrel.
Which one is it?
Cracker
Golden Corral.
Mhm.
Yes, and we've gotten some folks that want to begin to discuss street renamings. We've got a lot of Confederate street names over there, and we're going to have a community meeting coming up to begin to discuss that. So I'll give you all the date. That date, though, is, what is the date here for that?
August 31st.
Is it August 31st? Thank you, Denise.
6:30.
August 31st, 6:30 at 112 Smith Street. So we do have that as well. And also too, what we're doing right now in District 4, we are meeting to begin to discuss our land use maps and begin to modify our land use maps for Clayton County, especially here in District 4. I believe this will help with a lot of zonings and help us begin to grow, to grow in a way that is going to be smart and efficient for development, for economic development, but also too for quality of life here. So I'll keep you posted on that as well. So with that, we have, well, as far as SPLOST goes, the Lake Spivey Rec Center, we do now have a coffee shop cafe in there. They started last month. They're getting a lot of business. Folk are using that rec center and the trails like you wouldn't believe. So, you know, I think that was a great investment into our county. So people are enjoying that tremendously. Our amphitheater is in the final stage of its conceptual design. We are putting some designs in that I think are going to be second to none here in the state of Georgia. So we're looking forward to that. I will begin to release those as we go ahead and begin to finalize those. So look forward to those as well. I want to start with, we know we're in the midst of COVID, and we have a lot of issues we've got to begin to deal with as far as what is going to be the new normal here. We do have folk that are in need, and we want to begin to really look at these needs and figure out a way as a community, how can we begin to assess and handle them. So I believe if she's on, Judge Hill, are you on the call? I'm looking for her. Judge Hill, she's not here yet. Well, I'm going to bring her on to begin to discuss some of the funding sources that we have to begin to help our residents in Clayton County. But I do see our representative, Rhonda Bruneau. Rhonda Bruneau, do you want to give us an update on what's going on when this next session starts, and what are some of our priorities on this list, the agenda coming up?
Good morning, everybody. I'll just give, one of the things I did, I was trying to find the exact number, but just so you all will know that we did pass legislation and the governor did sign it. So for people who steal things off of your porch, that is a crime now. So, make sure you report that to your local officers, Clayton County Police, or if you live in the cities. To let them know. The other thing is we will have a special session. It'll be on redistricting. We haven't seen all the numbers, so I don't have anything specific for that. One of the biggest things is, of course, with COVID, is to make sure that, people are wearing their masks, encouraging individuals to get vaccinated. That will certainly help our community. And I did just get off a call that was on housing and the monies that are available. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that some more. I know that Magistrate Hill is on, so she'll probably have a lot of information to share with us about that. Our special session will probably start in November. We'll be there for 3 weeks. And of course, the governor does have some other agendas, other items that he's going to put on there related to crime. So once I find out more when it's going to start, then I can let everybody know. But of course, we will go back in session on the second Monday in January. And the other big issue that's up, of course, is that, and I don't know if Commissioner Davis wants to talk about this now, is the money, the jet fuel tax money will run out at the end of December. And so we are going to be contacting our community leaders so that they will contact our senators to talk about the importance of them passing legislation so that we can replace that money. Because if the money isn't replaced, you all will begin to see certain services whether you live in the city or the county that we won't be able to have because we won't have that money. And so that I know that I've talked about it before. I'm probably one of the few people that talks about it on a regular basis, that jet fuel tax money, and most people kind of gloss over it, but it's real now. And you're going to start to see some of the effects after January. And so, to make sure that everybody is informed, we will be sending out some information for you to contact your U.S. senators and your Congress, David Scott, and Williams, Congresswoman Nakima Williams, to make sure that they support that legislation on the federal level. We will continue to work on the state level, but we're going to need all hands on deck to make sure that our county does not lose any of the current services that we have now that are related to the jet fuel tax.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions about the jet fuel tax or anything else that's going on with the state for Representative Bruneau?
Sure. Which services are related to the jet fuel tax?
We are putting together a list and we will send that out specific. We asked the cities in the county to let us know specifically who would be affected or what would be affected as a result of the loss of that money.
Representative Bruneau, it's Yolanda Pickstock. How are you this morning?
Okay, how are you?
Whenever you get ready to start the mobilization campaign on getting outreach to our elected officials, let me know and I will work with our friends in organized labor to do that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Can you put your information in the chat?
I sure will.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And we had, when was our meeting? Was it?
It was
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah, we had a Wednesday meeting with many of the elected officials and school board personnel to begin to discuss and members to begin to discuss what the strategy is for going forward with this. So I think it was a productive meeting, and we will be having very frequent meetings to discuss this in the near future.
And the last thing is to just make sure that we all support Dr. Beasley in the school system. You know, they're going to make a lot of different changes with COVID, but that at least that they're making every effort to let us know ahead of time so that we will support our educators, our superintendent, and our parents to make sure that they make the right decisions, or when they make the decision to support them, because this is it changes each day for them. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that, Representative Burnell.
I had a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just wanted to know approximately how much was the jet fuel tax money if we were to, you know, if it goes where we don't have it, approximately how much is that?
The total was, I believe for the counties and cities was 18 million. And so what happened was in, I think it's 2018, 17, 18, the Governor Deal at the time gave us a grant. And so we were given all of our money. So the school district's money ran, Delta gave the school district their money. And the governor gave a grant to Clayton County for the county and the cities. And after that, so the county's money will run out at the end of this year. The school district's money is already gone. Or they're not receiving any more money, I'll say that. Hopefully they have invested the money, so they still have some left.
Anything else? Anyone else have any questions? Great. Well, thank you, Representative Burnell, for being on the call and also for all you do in helping us stay abreast and helping us fight to begin to get some of these some of these carrots that are ours. So thank you for that. We do have now, did I see, yeah, she goes, Judge Wright Hill, how are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. Can you come on and tell us a little bit about some of the funding available, what's going on to begin to help some of our citizens that are in need?
I can. Thank you. I want to thank Commissioner Davis for allowing me this platform to have just a few minutes to go over what's been going on with the CDC eviction moratorium and what Clayton County has done in response. Just to clear up just a few misconceptions about the eviction moratorium, it does not cover all evictions. It's not a blanket protection over all evictions. It does, it's related to evictions that are based on non-payment of rent. So if there's an eviction that has to do with a tenant holding over, the lease is up, and it was a 12-month lease and we're in month 18, month 19, that is not covered under the eviction moratorium, and therefore that type of eviction can proceed and go forward. A violation of the lease. If the lease says that the tenant has to seek approval from the landlord before painting the walls, and the landlord goes in to make repairs and the walls are hot pink and neon green, that has nothing to do with the CDC eviction moratorium, because that is not associated with non-payment of rent. So that's the first thing that I want to get across, because a lot of people have thought and spread the message, which is in error, that all evictions stop. So that's number one. So we are, and we have been holding and handling eviction proceedings since April, those type of cases. So now that we know what it's not covered, as far as what it does cover, the non-payment of rent, the last order which was August 3rd, which was extended for 60 days till October 3rd, it speaks specifically to areas where the numbers are substantially increasing, or your numbers are rising. So for all intents and purposes, Clayton County falls in that category. But if we were a county that had 0 COVID cases, and there are some small areas, small pockets in the country where COVID is under control and it's not spreading. So as we change we get the numbers every week. If we were in an area where there were 0 cases and it stayed at 0, then clearly this moratorium from August 3rd to October 3rd does not apply. But clearly Clayton County does fall under that. And so just to go back, in March of 2021, the Board of Commissioners did approve $1 million for Clayton County Magistrate Court to use as assistance for our eviction prevention project. And we were able to assist 148 tenants, meaning we dismissed those eviction cases, but the impact, even though it was 148 cases, it impacted 370 people, because you clearly have children and multiple people in households. So we were able to prevent 370 people from becoming homeless with that $1 million. And then we received money from the American Rescue Plan, the federal funds. We just received $4 million to continue doing the same thing. So, and in essence, I understand that we have to address the issues of the tenants, and we don't want to have an influx of a mass number of people becoming displaced. So it impacts the tenants, but we also have to look at the landowners and the property owners and the landlords, because many have went without payment for months, 12 months, 18 months. And so if they're having to pay out of pocket for their mortgage and pay for their household, the house where they live in, that can be taxing. And so what this money has done is try to make sure we look at the needs of everybody. So in essence, we are working with a nonprofit, the African Children's Fund. What we do is all evictions that have the CDC declaration or reference in the tenant's answer that they were unable to pay due to COVID. They could say they lost their job due to COVID. Their hours were reduced due to the pandemic. They had to stay home because their children were being taught virtually and they were too young to stay at home. Anything that is COVID related, I'm pulling those files and as far as being placed on a trial calendar for eviction and giving them to the nonprofit. The nonprofit then contacts the landowner or the property owner and tries to negotiate a settlement. So they are reducing the amount that they're paying they're not paying the late fees or the court fees. And then from there, they're trying to negotiate a settlement. So for example, if the amount that's owed is $5,500, and by the time you take out the late fees and the court expenses, it comes to $5,000. That's the amount that the property owner would get, and that's negotiated. And so in essence, we are paying out checks twice a week. So at 10 o'clock, we have the tenant come in and sign an agreement, which is basically stating that you understand that we are paying your back rent. This will give you a zero balance, that the landlord cannot come back after you for the difference, and your eviction will be dismissed, with the understanding that moving forward, you will be responsible for paying your rent. And a lot of people have, although they were out of work, have now been able to start back to work. So they're able to pay the rent moving forward. It's just that arrears is hanging over their head. And so they signed the settlement agreement at 10 o'clock. We have that landlord come in at 1 o'clock that same day. They're signing the same agreement, and we're giving the check directly to the landlord that day for whatever amount. So we've written checks from $1,000 up to $20,000. It's bringing it current from whatever was owed from the time they filed it to date. And so that way, at the end of the day, The landlord is walking out, not with a promise to pay, not waiting for funds to be funneled through the tenant. They're leaving the courthouse with a check. The tenant is able to breathe a sigh of relief that they and their household and their children will not be put out on the street. They're able to be lifted from that burden of those past arrears because they are starting with a fresh, clean slate. The county is benefiting by not having, hundreds of people becoming evicted at one point in time, and the magistrate court's backlog is being reduced. So it's a win-win-win-win situation, and it's just a blessing to be able to assist as many people as possible. Right now we do have a case manager that handles the applications, and what happens is what they do is they have to file on, I think it's relief.claytoncountyga.gov. And luckily we're using this is the neighborly system, but it's centralized. So your tenant doesn't have to apply for assistance here and apply for assistance there and fill out multiple applications. It's one application. And from that point, it either goes to if there's no eviction, so they're just behind in rent, but the landlord hasn't filed an eviction yet, then that application is going to go to Hearts to Nourish. And Hearts to Nourish is going to use their federal funds to pay. If they file the application and there is a pending eviction, it's going to come to the magistrate court. And we're going to just go through the process that I just stated. And so, we were able to do a lot with $1 million, and we know we'll be able to assist many, many more with the $4 million. I gave this information to Dr. Beasley, our superintendent, and he quickly put it out on their platform and sent it out to all of the parents of Clayton County that have children in Clayton County schools, because I got one myself. The biggest thing is we're trying to get the message out. There is assistance. Clayton County is working on behalf of their citizens. We are concerned about our tenants, but we are equally concerned about our property owners. And so the biggest thing is to try to ensure that we get this information out, tell them to go to the website. If they're in a situation where the eviction is due to non-payment of rent, file the CDC declaration. And that's been a challenge because unfortunately, the CDC stated that the tenant needs to give that declaration to the landlord. So the landlord knows to stop or halt any proceedings as relates to eviction. Failure to do so can result in a person being fined $100,000 or in agency $250,000. So it's a halt, but it didn't say let the court know. And so they may have halted it, but how will we know that we cannot proceed? So it's put us in a bit of a predicament, but that's why I said we're trying to stress to file the declaration with the court so we know, so we can pull that file and give it to the agency so they can work on getting funds. And also, even if the tenant just said, I can't pay, they can always go back and file an amendment and say, I cannot pay because of the pandemic. I can't pay because of the COVID-19. And as soon as we see that triggers us to move it towards getting funding.
Judge Hill, where can folks go to get procedural instructions? I mean, you've given a lot of good information, but where can we go to get procedural instructions? Or can I even post it on our site so that we can begin to make it more readily and easily available to them?
The biggest thing is if a tenant needs assistance, rental assistance, and they're not able to pay their rent due to COVID, they need to go to the website. The county has a central location, relief.claytoncountyga.gov, and fill out the application. And once we get the application, because from there they can download, whatever documents are required, and then the tenant does their portal, and then the landlord, they have to submit their ledger, proof that this money is owed so that we can move forward. But the biggest thing is just pushing the website, because whether they have an eviction or not, they're gonna go in one or two ways. There's money there to assist both ways. Hearts to Nourish if there's no eviction, or Magistrate Court if there is eviction. The
Well,
biggest thing
good.
is get the website out.
Great, because we know we all know somebody that's in need, but I'm glad you brought up and spoke about the property owners as well, because if these property owners cannot pay the bank, then these properties are foreclosed on and can become blighted properties in our county, which is not what we want to see here in Clayton County. And speaking of blighted, I did have one question for you, and since you are here, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, but I know you know where to get it from. It's dealing with a Terra Woods apartment, and folks want to know what is the process of getting this burned down, abandoned facility torn down, or a lot of folks in Sherwood want to know how they can expedite, I guess, expedite this. And I'm looking at Chief Roberts as well, but I don't know if the
The
judge
answer to
has
that. I know the situation,
Yes.
and wherever the Magistrate Court can assist, we will assist. That's not really my lane, so I try
Okay.
to stay in my lane.
I'm sorry about that. Good. Chief Roberts, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for asking. That building has been in that condition for a while. And
Yes.
it's been in the process for, if I'm not mistaken, years, and I understand the community's frustration, but I think it's the legal process and not so much with Magistrate Court, and Captain Mcdonald is on here too. He might be able to refresh my memory, but I understand that same question being asked almost over a year ago, or whenever code enforcement was under our umbrella, and it's been in the legal process for years now. Am I
Yeah.
mistaken, Captain McDonald?
You're correct, Chief. Right before COVID, they were supposed to go to court and have that a hearing on that building. And once COVID hit, everything got shut down, and it's still in a holding process at this time.
What court is it pending in? Is it pending in my court?
I believe so, ma'am.
Okay.
Because I inherited that case when the transition happened. I have to do some further digging.
Okay, well, let me say, if it is a case that's in Magistrate Court, we haven't started, we still have 3 calendars that we haven't restarted yet. So, and county ordinance is one of them. But I will say, if it's a case that's pending in Magistrate Court, we're working to try to start the county ordinance cases back. We still need to start back pre-issuance and child abandonment. But once we start, I will say this, once we start back county ordinance, I'll ensure that they're on the
Right.
first calendar.
Great. So we can begin to let the residents of Sherwood know that once it gets started, that it's moving along. And that's what we want to just make sure that they're abreast of what's taking place here. So do you have anything else for us, Judge Hill?
That's all. That's all. If the biggest thing is at this point is we have worked to get the funds, and our commissioners have done an excellent job. Our CEO and CFO and COO and all of our commissioners have done an excellent job in ensuring that we get these funds. So now we need to be able to get the funds out and disperse them. So the biggest thing at this point is if everyone can just tell someone, share, and get the information out, because it does no good to have this money sitting here and we can't disperse it to those that need it.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Judge Hill. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about Parks and Rec, what's going on in some of the and what we've been doing here in the past here to really grow our parks. So, Mr. Hodges, are you available?
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, so Parks Recreation, big day today. We've got, we're down at one of our recreation centers. We have an esports tournament going on. We've got 5 large screen TVs that the kids are playing the NBA 2K. We have a 20-foot LED screen that the champions will play on. Pretty good attendance with the kids for the e-gaming. We have the Nitro mobile video gaming going on right now. And we have a movie in the park tonight at Lee Street Park. So pretty good day going on with the Parks Recreation, with the water park. That's coming along good. We're still not able to open because of the Nassau building being rebuilt, but you know, it's on track for opening in April. So we will be doing some season pass sales for that will begin probably the month of October. We'll give, if you purchase a season pass, you'll be able to come into the water park early, you know, an hour early before everybody. We'll have special days that'll be for season pass holders only. We have several national tournaments coming up for tennis. One is the National Wheelchair Tennis that'll be at International Park at the tennis complex, which will be about 250 participants in the wheelchair tennis. They'll be all over the hotels. You'll see we're doing it in conjunction with Henry County Parks and Recreation. And so it's going to be a big event in the tennis scene. As Commissioner Davis said earlier, International Park with the walking trails are very, very popular at this time. We have a cafe that's open, so you know, people are stopping in, getting something to drink, sitting down, enjoying the air conditioner, and then they'll know get back on the trail and you know take off again. So, but I urge you to go to ClaytonParks.com to check out all of the other activities, and I'll be glad to answer any questions if you guys have any now.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Hodges? No questions? Well, thank you, Mr. Hodges, for it. And also too, to let everyone know, some of the holdup behind the development of the park is due to, with COVID, there's just been a backlog of supplies and getting them in. So we want to know it's of no fault of our own and our Parks and Rec. It's the nature of the beast with this COVID season going on. So we're working as hard and as diligently as possible to rectify the situation and get this water facility online as quickly as possible. So thank you, Mr. Hodges.
Sure, yeah, no problem.
All right, next, Captain Flynn, how are you this morning?
I am well, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You wanted to give us an update on our crime stats, what's taking place here?
Okay. Chief Roberts, do you want to take it first before I speak, sir?
No, I will be silent and I will let you drive the ship.
All right.
Proceed on.
Yes, sir. All right. For Sector 4, you know, the crime stats of the last several months have actually been pretty good. I mean, obviously the zeros are very encouraging. What we've seen lately, the pickup in burglaries, I was kind of expecting with school starting back in session. There's, you know, there's kids that aren't in the homes, and I think, you know, that over the last year or so has helped in some regards, because, you know, traditionally burglaries typically happen during the day when people are out working, and, you know, there was parents that are home with kids and kids being in the home. So I was kind of expecting a little bit of a rise there, but the issue that I saw over the last probably 2 weeks is the entering autos. I know they're not reflected on this screen, but when I do my weekly reviews, starting to see a lot of people where they're leaving computers and money and things like that. And, you know, I think last week I had 2 firearms that were taken that were left in vehicles at people's houses. You know, just ask the citizens, you know, just to continue to be vigilant and to take any property, you know, especially like that, you know, laptops, tablets, guns, anything like that that's of any value. One of the things that, you know, I do see a lot of is clothing items and shoes that are taken out of vehicles also. So, you know, anything that you can do to reduce the, the likelihood that somebody would break into a vehicle will help us in our efforts. We have stepped up quite a bit, doing foot patrols in the various neighborhoods, doing them in the apartment complexes and things of that nature. But like I said, things like robbery, we went, I want to say prior to that week 31 where we had 2, we actually went like 6 weeks without a single robbery in Sector 4, which I'm very proud of the officers of Sector 4 for their efforts and being present in the areas where traditionally those things happen. And I think that's, had a great effect on those things. And I think that's really all I have for Sector 4. I know Captain Maddox is on in reference to his portion of Sector 2 that falls within District 4.
Captain Maddox.
Yeah, I'm going to echo some of what he was just saying. And thefts are the thing that's really gone up, and we really would appreciate if people would pay attention. On the ring videos that I see, it's just kids walking down in the middle of the night, walking up to cars and just pulling on the handles to see if they're unlocked. That's all they're doing. And if your car's locked, they move on to the next car or whatever. And it's important that they lock their vehicles up. And please don't leave any valuables overnight in your cars. And especially don't leave guns in the cars. That's something I have a little trouble understanding. You buy a gun to protect yourself and your family, and then you leave it in your car. It's not doing any good out there. And that's an easy place for it to get stolen from. So if we could put the word out there and everybody understand it, if you own a gun, please don't leave it in your car, especially overnight. It's real important that you keep that secure as well.
Great, thank you, thank you. Anyone have any questions, or Chief Roberts, do you want to add anything?
Well, since Captain Maddox brought it up, our overall crime through the end of July was down over 23%. What gave us concern, though, was the number of incidents of violent crime that we saw that were gun related. And that last caveat the captain gave is so very important, where we've seen vehicles entered and guns stolen and then later on used in crime. So if we do better with securing our weapons, I think it will also help us in this fight against violent crime. And just for everyone's education, what we did see over the last 4 weeks through the end of July, we were down in incidents of violent crime compared to July 2020, which shocked me because last year this time, we don't think we saw the same number of people out and about and active. So our community partnerships seem to be effective. We'll keep doing what we're doing and advocating for everyone to secure their weapons and secure their valuables. And I think it'll help us overall keep citizens safe.
Great, thank you. And I just want to say thank you for getting involved with the community. Our police department and safety officials are out at parks and they're just talking to kids and just normal interaction. And I think that is so important in us beginning to bring our rates of theft and robbery and other types of crimes down. So I just want to say thank you, Chief, to you and your staff, you and your officers. What do we have next? Also, too,
Can I ask a question?
Sure, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, the traffic on Walt Stevens Road, as the traffic's getting heavier, it seems that more and more people are speeding on that road. Has that come up, or is that being addressed?
I've not gotten any complaints on that, so I've not called the chief or Captain Flynn to begin to discuss that. Captain Flynn, I guess we do have a complaint about that.
Okay, yes, sir. Ms. Yolanda, what area on Walt Stevens is there any one area where you're specifically, so because what I'll try to do is direct a detail into that area.
Yeah, it's where the young man died on the motorcycle last week. And as I've run through the school zone area, the school guard, I have witnessed twice where she was almost hit because people are not stopping in the morning when the kids are going to school.
Okay. And I will also reach out to our traffic unit in reference to that. And I had already been speaking with my shift commanders in reference to the school zones and trying to step up our presence in, obviously there are multiple school zones within, our sector, but I will make sure that we get over there. If there's a problem that's identified over there, as you were doing, we'll make sure we get over there in the mornings and try to curtail some of that activity.
Great. And I think with that, we also need to possibly step it up over there on the Hill Road around Sequoia Middle School. We have a lot of lack of sidewalks over there that we need to really look and take care of these kids over in that area as well.
Well, if I could, Commissioner, I'm glad you brought that up in the discussion in reference to school zones. If you aren't aware, we have partnered with the Board of Education and installed our first school zone speed camera. It's actually in the Swint Elementary 138 corridor. And the reason is that's where our research has indicated we've had the greatest number of speeders during school zone hours, and the speed violations are substantial. We're in the midst, I believe, of a 45-day grace period where those cameras will initiate citations to the owners of those vehicles. Depending on how this initiation occurs and how it progresses, we can expect to do the same in our similarly high-speed school zone areas around the county. So expect that to be forthcoming.
Great, thank you. Can you send me some information on that so we can get it out to the community via our sites as well to let them know we're watching now?
We will do it, and actually it's on our website, and it should have came through county communications, and we will send it some more.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioners, Detective Brown.
Go ahead.
Yes, in reference to that, for those who aren't following, all of those topics are actually being posted on our Facebook page as well. So everyone can follow us on our Facebook, our Instagram, Twitter, and those items on there is reference to the speed lights, and it's also with community affairs. We speak with our captain weekly and their concerns about different crime aspects in the area. And we do put out safety tips. We just put out a safety tip Friday video in reference to the stealing from the vehicles. And we actually posted a safety video for tips and things for the citizens to, be aware of. And I don't know if he's coming back to us, but we have, I guess, our two major events that we have as far as this county. We have an open house that is going to be October the 8th. And I believe we're going to turn into a weekend because we're going to combine our open house with our faith forum. And that's going to be on Friday and Saturday with all the different precincts getting together to have their own event. And they'll be planning it with community affairs as well.
Great. Thank you for that. The more social media sites we can get this information on, the better. We want to just make sure that it's passing folks' eyes in many different ways through many different sites. So thank you all for that. We know we've had some pedestrian fatalities as well, and we want to begin to really look at some means of handling and counteracting those. What I have done is every development that we have coming into District 4, we are mandating and have been since I came into office, 8 to 10 foot wide sidewalks in front of all new apartment buildings and other venues. So we're going to continue with this as long as I'm here to begin to move this forward. This is one of the things that we have to do to begin to put our pedestrians a little bit more at ease. We've got a large highway there in Terra Boulevard, and folks are really trying to cross that. So we've got to begin to look at better crosswalks, better visibility for them, but also sidewalks for them to begin to get across. So I just wanted to put that note out there as well for you all. Next, we have Warden. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I did have a question just about the safety. Yeah, this is Anthony Dean. I didn't announce my name before, and I appreciate you, of course, Commissioner Davis, for everything that you're doing, and also our law enforcement and making sure our community is safe. Just in reference to the numbers and everything that were posted, they look really good, and I'm excited about that. I just wanted to know, is there any, how does that compare to other counties or other areas in the Metro Atlanta area? Do we know kind of how that compares, as how our crime rate is, or our response times, and how that compares to other areas in Atlanta? Is there any, would anyone kind of know anything?
Well, if you look at the other agencies, some do post their crime statistics and some do not. So it makes it oftentimes difficult to make those comparisons. So we try to stick to what our trends are. But if you look at what's posted in the metropolitan area from other agencies, there are increases in certain areas. All of us have seen increase in violent crime, no doubt about it. If you would be unique in that respect, if you hadn't seen an increase in your violent crime this year, because we're on the heels of a pandemic, was giving me some comfort is that our increases have not been as extreme as our metropolitan peers, and more specifically, if you move towards the north. But without them posting their numbers and making them available, it's hard to do jurisdictional comparisons. So what we lean towards is looking at our crime trends over the years that we keep posted on our Facebook page, and to actually have truthful numbers to compare to, you would have to get the FBI crime reporting numbers that are tallied at the end of the year. So it's hard to say right now in that respect, Mr. Dean.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Commissioner, I think you're still muted.
I'm sorry. Warden Nelson, Captain McDonald, code enforcement, go.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick update, but I'll leave it up to Captain McDonald and Captain Gooden. Captain McDonald over code enforcement and Gooden over refuse control. As has been going on for the last year and a half, we've been plagued with issues like everybody else. We are a little over 100 inmates short of where we should be. And of course, everything points to COVID because that's what it's all about. That is COVID that's causing this. So with us being short on inmates, that's of course being short on labor. We've had a relentless grass season. The heavy rains, and combined with, again, COVID, officers not being able to come to work because they have contracted it, has caused us to get way behind, in addition to some equipment issues. But I think we're getting back on track just in time, hopefully, for the end of grass season. We have had numerous requests to cut grass along the roadways. We're doing that. We're getting there as quick as we can. Just to put it into perspective, now we cut roughly 740 miles of roadway both ways. If you were to drive from here to Cleveland, Ohio to the Great Lakes, that's the distance of roadway we cut, and then back. And then if you go south, all the way down to almost Key West. So it's a tremendous amount of roadway. We are also working on not just the roadway, but the curbs and the sidewalks to get all that overgrowth, and hanging trees hanging over into the walkway and road area, and also the covering signs and being a safety hazard. So we are addressing it. We expect that it's going to get busier here with the tropical storm that's approaching, and that will put us behind a few days too. But I'll defer to Captain McDonald first on the code enforcement end. He's been very, very busy with his folks, and I'll let him explain what's been going on in the district.
Is connection bad?
I think his connection's bad.
Yeah, I think his connection might be bad.
How about let's switch to Captain Gooden and let her give an update on refuse control.
Good morning, everyone. Of course, I'm Captain Gooden.
I think the warden's connection was bad.
All right, so we got Captain Gooden.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So far for District 4 for this July, we've actually cut 6 county roads. We've done a total of 11 road cleanings where we've picked up dump items, picked up trash. We've answered the Claytons. We have started back with community service workers. So that's going to help us catch up on some of these tickets as far as walking roads and picking up trash. I can tell everyone, you know, I do get a lot of phone calls about roads not being walked, dumped items. And I can assure you know, everyone that every ticket that comes across my desk or every call that I do receive, I'm keeping track of that and I'm working diligently to make sure that we get all these areas cleaned up. Anytime that you call me with your complaints, you know, feel free. I've been there for approximately a half a year now. I'm enjoying it, meeting everyone. So if there are like any questions that you have, you know, feel free to call and they will be addressed. So that's pretty much all I have.
Great. Thank you, thank you. Captain McDonald, you want to try again?
Good morning, everybody.
go.
Is this any better?
Good.
A quick update on Terra Woods. That case is actually in Superior Court, and Superior Court has not started hearing those kind of cases at this time. They were supposed to go to court on April of 20, and once COVID hit, it shut them down. So we're still pending a court case with that in Superior Court.
Great.
Am I working or am I losing?
Yeah, you're here.
Code enforcement has a whole year to date. Am I here?
Yes. Yeah.
Code enforcement has opened 9,500 cases year to date countywide. We're up 2,500 cases from this time last year. So we're extra busy at code enforcement. In District 4 alone, we have committed 3,792 notices of violations in District 4 alone. We've issued 75 citations out of those notices of violations in District 4, which is good because we're getting a lot of voluntary compliance, which is our goal. We pulled up roughly 2,000 signs, illegal signs out of District 4 year to date. And of course, this is peak of our busy season. We've scaled back the blitzes a little bit because we're so busy with phone calls. In the last month, we've done 3 blitzes in District 4 and 1 commercial blitz in District 4 for a total of 4 blitzes in the last 30 days in that area.
Great.
Of course, continue to notify me. Call us if you have any issues. Use Click Clayton, complaint line, or email. We'll respond to those things as quick as we can.
Thank you.
Captain McDonald, can you just explain real quick what a blitz is and also what the process is once we issue a notice of violation as opposed to a citation?
Yes, sir. A blitz is where we go into a specific neighborhood and have a targeted effort of all resources to do maximum inspections for violations, for quality of life violations. We schedule blitzes, one, based on how many complaints we've gotten out of an area over a 30-day time. But my resources hit that neighborhood, and any violations, they get a citation. We try to spread literature also about some of the common quality of life violations that there may be out there. When we issue a notice of violation, all that is just that resident, that property owner is in violation of some sort of county ordinance. It's kind of like a warning that, you know, you need to not park on your grass, for instance. It's got to be parked on a hardened surface. If they continue to not come in compliance, then we come out and give a citation, which is through the magistrate court. But we strive for voluntary compliance more so than citations.
Great, great. All right. Anything else for us from code enforcement?
Commissioner Davis, this
Yes,
is Judy
ma'am.
Taylor. Yes, I wanted to ask a question. I thought that there was some kind of ordinance about the tires out in front of all the buildings up and down Terra Boulevard. Close to us, there's a place called Tire Place Solutions, and on down south of there, I thought the tires had to be either inside or in back of the building or somewhere. There's hundreds of tires all over the parking lots and all around the buildings there too. Is there anything that can be done about that? And also I wanted to thank Captain Mcdonald. They've done a good job as far as getting the Terra Woods Apartments to at least keep the grass cut and to clean up some of their regular buildings that maybe a few people are living in. But I also wanted to hope that we could have anything we can do to move along the issue about our burned out units. Those issues, those didn't just get burned out right before COVID. They were burned out 5 or 6 years ago. And so they've been sitting there at the entrance to our subdivision and everything all this time. And we've not, those apartments have been a problem for over 10 years. And then the burned units came 5 or 6 years ago. And then there's another burned unit after the first of this year that we have to look at back and forth. Anything we can do at all, they've done what code enforcement can do. Anything we can do as far as urging the courts to get this taken care of, I would appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And the courts right now are backlogged, and they're trying to get back and functioning. And we are trying to assist them in everything we can do to get them up and functioning. So, like I say, it's a matter of what's happened during this time and space that has put us in a jam here. But as far as, go ahead, I'm sorry.
What I can do is I do meet with the chief judges of state court and superior court, Judge Carter. If I can just get some more information, I just need the case number so I can see what judge it is assigned to. It's not in my court, so I can't expedite it, but I could try to see if they have any indication as to when they will get to those type of cases.
Great.
I could do that. And then also, Captain McDonald, if you could, and I think I said it before at a different town hall that I was at, if you would advise your officers to let the residents know when you're giving them the citations, it would behoove them to go ahead and pay those citations, because the likelihood that the fine is going to be lower once it gets to magistrate court is not high.
Great.
Did I say that nicely?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Do we have any other
I
questions?
will send you the
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
information on.
Don't forget about the tires.
Correct. The ordinance on the, okay, you'll check that, but I think the ordinance that's on the tires is they have to be inside when they're closed, but is it a number of 75 tires that are out there, I believe?
I think so, sir. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Miss Taylor.
Yeah, no problem. If we can go by and just check that out though, and see what's going on as well as some of the other tire shops in the area, that'd be great. Okay. All right. Any other questions from folk? Go ahead.
I have a question. Thank you. My name is Elaine, and I want to thank everyone for the amazing job that you're doing. Appreciate it so much. My question is to Captain McDonald. We have a property on Walt Stevens and Kent that's for sale, a huge property. Does the growing, and it's growing excessively, the weeds, does that come under code enforcement as well?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Okay. Okay, so can I put that out there now, or is there a procedure that I have to follow?
If you would either do a click Clayton on it or email Clayton County, Clayton, email code.enforcement.
Yes. Okay.
Clayton County GA.
Okay.
That will register a complaint and we will start the process that way. Or I will put my email in the minutes and you can email me.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other questions?
this is Judy Taylor again. Is this just for code enforcement? I can do
No,
a
no,
general.
we're open for questions now.
Okay, you brought this up at the beginning of the meeting about the zoning at Noah's Ark Road that's going to come up before the commissioner zone this Tuesday night at 6:30 at the
Yes, ma'am.
commissioners meeting and everything too. And I do know that we've had quite a few comments about wanting to deny this zoning because it's 195 attached townhouses that will increase a tremendous amount of traffic and cause a lot of issues in the area. Well, one thing I was concerned about, I have talked to people on Noah's Ark Road and on Lake Chase and Thornton, and nobody heard about any kind of community meetings other than the one meeting that the county had way back before this all started. So I was real concerned about that they haven't had the opportunity. But I'd like to encourage anybody that has a concern to get in touch with you or to attend the meeting or let you know how they feel about it, because this could be a real big issue. And once it's done, it's going to be done. So everybody needs to comment prior to the meeting.
Okay, and just to let you know, Ms. Taylor, I actually hosted one of the meetings personally, and another meeting was hosted by the attorney, and then there was another community meeting. So we did have them. So I'll let you know that. But yes, we've been in discussion. We've had traffic reports done, traffic studies done in the area. So we're looking at this from every aspect that we can. So we want to make sure our quality of life stays high.
Thank you very much. I just wondered about the meetings and how anybody was supposed to know about those meetings.
Yeah, we posted signs throughout, and we also put it up on our site. Any other questions? No?
Commissioner Davis, I did have a question.
Sure.
When we were talking about the jet fuel tax that I forgot, I was wondering that if we happen to lose that jet fuel tax, would it be an issue where we would end up raising taxes in order to replace that? Is that something that would be on the table, or is that something that's off the table? But where would that stand as far as replacing that?
Well, what we'd have to do is, we know we have services that we have to provide to the citizens. So we'd have to take a look at what our numbers are from our tax digest, what's coming in, and would raising taxes be on the table? Yes, they would be, but we would hope that would not come to fruition. And we're hoping that Representative Bruneau and the delegation begin to make some hard inroads in this session to where we don't have to begin to look at that.
Yes, that is one of the concerns, is the taxes would possibly go up. And that's why we have been fighting to get the money to replace that. And that's why we're going to need the support of the whole entire community. Just like when we went down there, when they were going to remove the jet fuel tax, Dr. Beasley took students down there. They were outside of Delta Airlines. And that made a difference. And at the time, State Representative Valencia Stovall had a very good relationship with Governor Deal, and she put her reputation on the line for the county. And I was in the meeting, and so was Chairman Turner. And that's how we were able to secure the money that we did secure. So, and ever since that time, we have been continuing to fight. We have a federal lobbyist. And so we are working really hard to secure those funds. However, we are going to need the support of the community at this point, because we're going to need you to put pressure on, like I said, our federal delegation. And, you can even write us, but we have been working diligently. And that's the point I want to make, is that in the beginning, when we were talking about it, it didn't really have an effect. Because everything was going fine, and we want it to continue, and we don't want to have to raise taxes because of that. But we do need your support. So anything that you all, once we send the information out, we will need for you to actively contact the individuals that we ask you to.
Great. So hopefully that answered your question, Mr. Dean.
Yes, it did. Thank you very much.
No problem. Anybody else have a question? We're drawing here to the close. Anyone else? Well, I want to say thank everybody for coming on. I want to announce a few upcoming events that we do have. We have what's called a Clayton County Essential home repair program. It's for residents over the age of 62, disabled or veterans. You must be in a single family detached home, and it must be your principal residence for the last 5 years. And you must meet some HUD requirements, but the enrollment starts August 18th through August 20th, 8 a.m. starting on the 18th through August 19th at 5 p.m. So those that are in need of home repairs that meet those qualifications, please register and apply for this. Second, we have Chairman Turner's 5K run, which is next Saturday, August 21st. It starts at 8 a.m. That benefits CASA and the CASA Foundation. So please go out, come out and support. It's over at Lee Street Park, and he does a phenomenal job raising money for CASA. Next, we have the Atlanta Airport Career Fair. The airport is hiring. It is Saturday, August 25th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Saturday, August 25th, and it's at 6000 North Terminal in the domestic atrium. So if you know those are in need of employment, please get out and come out and apply for jobs that are there. And the last one we have on here is our street renaming community meeting. That is taking place August 31st at 112 Smith Street. Those in favor and those opposed, please pass the word and come on out. That's at 6:30 at 112 Smith Street to begin to discuss the renaming and the process of the renaming and what has to take place for that. So hopefully we'll see you. That gives you all some good information. Our next meeting is Saturday, September 11th, same time, 11 a.m. Bring a friend and hopefully we'll begin to discuss. We can still email questions to our emails if you have anything. We want to make sure that we're not only have answered your questions now, but any thoughts you have in the future, we're looking at those as well and addressing those needs. So anyone, oh, and by the way, we also too want to stop. Miss Taylor, are you there?
I'm here.
Miss Taylor, we want to say happy 80th birthday to you. And hopefully you had a great week.
I did have a great week, and I wanted to tell you I appreciated your email, and I wish that we only had chickens to worry about. and then that would make your life and my life a lot easier.
Yes,
So thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to do all we can, but we want to say happy birthday from all the folks in Clayton County. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I want to thank everybody for coming, and I look forward to seeing you all on September 11th. Bye.
Thank you, sir.